Well, good evening, soul butterflies. I trust you're having a great evening tonight. You are listening to SOMA Fusion Radio with your host, Katie Kamara, coming to you live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. We are broadcasting to you live worldwide this fine evening on Facebook, soma-fusion.com, YouTube, and the official Global Enlightenment Radio Network.com website. We have much to discuss on SOMA Fusion Radio tonight, and I hope you all have your pens and paper handy. And if you don't, just listen, because you can catch the archive a little later after the show. I will mention to you that the official advertiser of SOMA Fusion Radio is Conscious Apparel Co., and you can find them at www.consciousapparelco.com, and they have a promo code for you, We Are One, all one word, for 20% off of their clothing and apparel that they have on their store. That's www.consciousapparelco.com. So go check it out. Another shout out to supporters and readers of We Motivate People magazine. I am the editor-in-chief there. You can go check them out at wmpmagazine.com. And if you support me and my work, you can make a donation via PayPal on my website at www.soma-fusion.com, or go to my account at Patreon at www.patreon.com/SomaFusion. Tonight, in reference to the Jupiter-Venus conjunction we have had over the last 2 days and the new moon in Sagittarius, we'll be talking all about love, letting go, by confronting your shadow, setting a new intention, so planting new seeds, and the beginning of new journeys, so setting your vision for 2020. I will note that even if you do not follow astrology, or even your horoscope for that fact, or even if you're skeptical or follow similar or different beliefs, the message that it brings will still be applicable to each and every one of you. Might this be a subtle reminder that we are imperfectly perfect, or perfectly imperfect, whichever way you want to put it. In order for our souls to grow, we must seek improvement in all areas of our lives, mind, body, and soul. This is a lifelong journey we must take on each on our own, and my path is going to be completely different to yours, but one thing still remains. Through love, we can grow as a community through the collective consciousness of humanity. For those who are wondering about my astrological signs and my natal chart, I am a double Cancer, Sagittarius, Capricorn. The moon, sun, and rising with a numerology life path of number 2. I am the epitome of a dual personality craving for security, structure, and stability while running free like the wind with every new experience or adventure I have. And it is a lesson learned that I use to teach others about the wisdom and knowledge of life through my coaching practice at SOMA Fusion. Guided by my intuition and heart-centered feeling, my mind is the most powerful asset that I have. And I add, I am a left-right side creative. Tonight is a very, very big show. We have 3 guests, not one, but 3 guests. So first coming on is Kim Kraut, and she's a spiritual mentor. At 7, we have Erin Koczur, who's a tarot reading and psychic. And at 8 o'clock, we have Dr. Rita Louise, who is a medical intuitive and psychic. I will mention to you when I call out, there will be a call-in number. So if you've got your pens and paper handy, that call-in number is 415-762-9988 or 646-568-7788. You need to follow the verbal instructions and enter in the meeting ID, which is 522-6572-748. And after that, you press the pound key twice. We are listed. I will get into the guests a little bit more in a few. But firstly, I just wanted to say that the November 9, 2019 new moon in Sagittarius is all about opening your mind. It's a powerful new moon that is coming up tonight. It is coming up tonight, and which means that there's still work for you to do before 2020. October's shadowy new moon in Scorpio was all about confronting your darkness, and November's full moon in Taurus shed light on your blessings. The emotional meaning of November 2019 in new moon in Sagittarius, however, revolves around your long-term goals and the bigger picture. It is governed by a happy-go-lucky Jupiter, planet of expansion, education, higher learning, and spirituality. The essence of truth-seeking Sagittarius has everything to do with the faith you have in yourself and your surroundings, and it's a time to expand your horizons. The sun enters the worldly Sagittarius on November 22nd. It is now the 26th, which will definitely lighten up the mood after an intensity-filled Scorpio season. Then charming Venus will make her way into the serious Capricorn on November 25th. The irresistible Venus is the planet of love, beauty, and so this will certainly bring a shift to your relationships along with your spending habits. Following the following day, the day of the new moon, the sun will meet the moon in an adventurous Sagittarius, which will create a cosmic kickstart of the Jupiterian fuel. Are you ready to take that leap of faith? When you look towards the future, what do you see? The new moon phase represents the beginning of a lunar cycle. This occurs when the moon sits between the sun and the earth, and the sun sheds light on the dark side of the moon, which is the side you never get to see. This is precisely why the moon becomes invisible as seen from Earth during the new moon phase. Aside from the celestial logistics of it all, however, the new moon takes a place when both the sun and the moon are in the same zodiac sign, which provides you with more energetically concentrated version of this particular zodiac sign. When the new moon radiates throughout the cosmos, it announces that the beginning of a journey. It's a perfect time to let go of the past and start over. The moon is in a fertile and foundational position, making it the ideal lunation for settling an intention and growing it, watching it grow. Stay tuned, because the November 2019 new moon in Sagittarius is here tonight, and it's going to take you away from the ordinary and introduce you to the extraordinary. If you're about to start a project or make a decision to keep a promise, I say there's no better time to do it than on a new moon. Over the course of the next 6 months, when the corresponding full moon takes place in the same zodiac sign, whatever it is that you began will have reached a conclusion. You'll see what you've learned, understood what you could have done differently, and even if things didn't pan out the way you have hoped, you should be proud and you gave it your best shot. But there's no way your project wouldn't have reached some ideal of success if you start it on a new moon. Both the sun and the moon are a representation of your consciousness and your unconscious self. And with both of these ever-glowing luminaries traveling through the mutable fire sign like Sagittarius, there is really no denying about the amount of strength and fertility stemming from the Jupiter-ruled lunation. Before you get too excited, you should know that there are a number of challenging aspects taking place throughout this lunation. Firstly, La Luna will be making a stressful aspect to the rebellious Uranus, planet of liberation, chaos, and unexpected change. This will help you liberate yourself and break through whatever's been holding you back, but it won't be easy. Uranus's electric influence could definitely spark some friction given that it would have you confronting a number of fears, limitations in order to move forward. The rebel planet will also make a challenging aspect to go-getter Mars, planet of assertion. Mars is a warrior and an impulsive one at that. Uranus, on the other hand, prefers to start a revolution, so this could bring a number of unexpected surprises and perhaps even arguments. Nevertheless, this is the last hurrah from the heavens, helping you rid of yourself of the things that no longer serve you in order to start again full force in 2020. On a brighter note, however, red-hot Mars will be harmoniously aspected by charming Venus in Capricorn. So if you release the ego and lean in on the support of your relationships more, your new moon in Sagittarius experience could turn out to be a lot more positive than you think. Since this new moon takes place in a cultural, adventurous, hilarious, and open-minded Sagittarius, it's time to embrace something totally out of your comfort zone. Sagittarius doesn't care for routine, rules, or regulations. Instead, Sagittarius pushes forward by having faith. As Sagittarius believes it's not about the destination, it's about the journey and all the unexpectedly brilliant things that happen along the way. So let this new moon show you the world is full of endless possibility. And if you're too afraid of trying something different, you'll miss out on something so valuable. So what time does this take place tonight? It is at 10:05 p.m. Eastern, if you're in North America. This new moon is incredibly pure in its intention, and it wants to brighten your relationships, invite abundance into your life, and help guide you towards your path you're meant to take. No matter what happens, understand that it's all for the best. Embody the Sagittarius principle that it will work out the way that it's supposed to in the end. But with Venus, the planet of love and money, forming a conjunction with the expansive and indulgent Jupiter, you're increasing the positive vibes in your life, and it's time to embrace good times with friends, both old and new. Dive into all the romance life has to offer by getting excited by new crushes or infusing your current partnership with a little TLC. Manifest luxury and financial freedom because money wants to be in your life. This transit wants you to feel joy, so stop worrying about the ifs and ands and buts. However, you should still be prepared for the unexpected conflicts or bursts of emotion, as the competitive Mars will form an opposition to an unpredictable Uranus. This could be a motivating force, and if you choose your battles wisely. Regardless, the new moon aims to help you understand what it takes to get what you want out of life. Planet Mercury is connecting with the dreamer. Neptune, giving you a boost of creative and empathetic feeling, as well as revealing what your dreams could look like. As this transit gives you fresh ideas, Mercury's connection with disciplined Saturn will give you the lowdown for how to bring those dreams to fruition. Dig deep within yourself, discover what it is you're meant to be doing, because Mercury will also form a trine to the North Node, aka the direction you're encouraged to move in. Let yourself be pulled away toward destiny. There may be a lot of work left to do, but it would all be worth it in the end. So tonight, in reference, I will be talking about the Jupiter-Venus conjunction. Obviously, that is the theme for tonight, and how we can transform ourselves, because the 2020 theme is transformation, the rising of the phoenix. So from 3 different perspectives, from 3 different people, I will give you your opportunity to ask questions. And we will also be doing 2020 readings, but I will mention to you that we will only have 1 question, please, each, because otherwise we are consumed by time right now. So the first guest that I have on tonight is Kim Kraut. She is a spiritual mentor. Kim is living in the beautiful historic city of St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. Kim has agreed to come onto the show and talk about the new world in 2020. Good evening, Kim. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you, Katie, for that beautiful welcome.
You're very, very welcome.
It is wonderful to be here with you today. And, we couldn't be here at a better time. And the reason I say that is because with the new moon, it's new opportunities. They are new beginnings. It is an opportunity for everyone to take time to grow what they want to manifest for that 2020 year. So the things that have transpired so far in that 2019 year, they have all led up to this particular moment in time. And it is now where we can take our lives and really shift them into what we really want to be, with the energy that's coming in from Sagittarius. Now, you have to understand Sagittarius is independent, it's frank, it's sassy, it's creative, it's innovative, it doesn't follow the rules. It's your wild card is coming to life here. So take advantage of that energy. So if you're stuck in a rut, this is a great time because you can use that energy to align yourself, to balance yourself, to change the things that aren't serving your greatest good, to look at the shadow side of yourself, to look at your light. This is a time, not just in the new moon, but if you look at things politically and you look at what's happening around the globe, look at what's happening in China, they want their freedom. People are standing up for what they want. Before, people were passive and they would succumb to whatever the political body at that time would tell them to do. They would fall into line. When people are not happy today, they're making changes. They're standing up. We had a women's movement in the 219 year that said, not me, for women to be respected, for us not to take advantage of them, for families to be respected. So there have been a lot of social changes. I'm not saying that all of them have been good changes, but there have been a lot of changes, social changes. There have been changes where we're looking after our environment, where we're socially conscious, where we're looking at making betterments, where we are moving towards more rights and more freedoms. And this has also been a fantastic time for moving to spiritual awakening. I find that it's becoming to the forefront, whereas before it was taboo and people would kind of shush you if you were talking about anything that had anything to do with spirituality or the spiritual path of the human being. I believe that it's the right of every human being in this world to understand themselves at soul level. And with the energy of Sagittarius and the planet of Jupiter, we're going to make it happen. They're going to kick everybody's butt into reality. And I think this is a great way to move forward in the 2020 year. So for everyone out there who is considering changes in their career or creativity or vision, or if they want to make corrections in their own behaviors and releasing old programs, there are a lot of people that are walking around with those old programs of pain and suffering and depression, and they want to change those things. I want to tell you, you can. There is no reason why you can't change it. And one of the things that I have found, that I have come across in the last little while, was a Hawaiian. The people in in Hawaii, they have a way of releasing the behaviors that don't serve their greatest good, and it's called Ho'oponopono. And what that is they're giving gratitude, love, forgiveness, they're sorry, they're telling themselves this mantra to release those limiting behaviors. This is the year we can focus on making those changes by everyone lifting up the other. When I lift you up, I'm lifting myself up, which is lifting everybody else up in society. The 2020 year is going to be our year for self-actualization, for self-awareness, for better choices in our life and observances as part of our life, and being responsible for our own thoughts and mindfulness, and accepting our shadows and light and our gifts. And the way that we are going to discover our gifts is silence, going back to point zero. When you go back to point zero, you can find out who you are at your soul level, your authentic self. That would be our ability to see who we are. We're so preoccupied by our devices, texting, and going on the computer and checking all of our games and nonsenses. We have polluted our minds basically and kept them so preoccupied that we don't even know who we are. And with the energy of Sagittarius coming in, because Sagittarius is frank, it's honest, it will cut you at your knees. It's sarcastic, and it's going to cut you right at your knees because it's got you now. So if you want to be, doing that behavior and continue doing that behavior, you cannot change your world. And the world has changed. And everyone has to just catch up to where it is. So this is an opportunity for people to take that energy and get unstuck, to reflect on where they spend their time, and to think with mindfulness, to be present in their moment. It's just too bad that we can't be like Fido or a cat, because if we were more like them, we would be pretty darn psychic. They know how we feel all the time. Us, we don't have a clue how we feel. We don't even know where we are half the time. Every time someone's talking to you, your mind wanders off in a different direction. And if I was to ask you what I just said 5 minutes ago, you couldn't even answer me because you don't know. So being mindful and being present in your moment is what this change of the new moon is bringing to our attention. It's bringing to our attention to be present in our moment and to manifest the life that we want. And the life that we have right now isn't the life that we want. We have a life, but I can tell you this, most people aren't happy with it. And it's because they're allowing everything from the outside to influence them on the inside. Now it's time to be quiet and listen to yourself from the inside. Purpose. How many people out there know their purpose? How many people feel they're aligned with their authentic self? Do you know who your authentic self is? Do you know where your authentic self lives? Your authentic self lives within. This is the time to find out who that is. Too much time has been spent on our mindlessness, our experiences, our distractions, our noises, and our poor choices. Inspiration, a lot of people, they don't know. Where does inspiration come from? How could you ever have an inspiring thought if you can't even keep quiet enough to hear what it is? A lot of people don't know how to tune in and hear what that inspiring thought is and where it's coming from and where it's leading to. I feel that in the 2020 year, this is going to be our time to tune into ourselves, to figure out what our purpose is, to take that purpose and find some balance to realign ourselves to that purpose and bring it forward and being our true, authentic soul self. The more aligned that we become with our purpose, the easier our life becomes. And the reason why is because we're going with our flow rather than going against the flow of our life. Every person comes into this world with lessons to learn. And those lessons need not be patterns that you repeat over and over and over. If you pay attention to what's going on in your own life, you're going to see that you wake up at the same time and do the same thing every day. And how many people are hoping by the end of the day that they're going to get a different result from doing the same behavior? Well, Sagittarius is going to come and kick you in the pants, because Sagittarius isn't going to put up with that. They're not interested in you sitting at home doing the same thing day after day. Get out of your comfort zone. Try something new. Try something different. Develop your skills. Develop yourself. Sagittarius is the zodiac's intellect. Why? Because they have this thirst for knowledge and they're curious about everything. Why? I remember when I went to university, because I am born in the sun sign of Sagittarius and my moon sign is in Cancer. So it's a wonderful combination because I know about kicking in the pants
And
because I've done my share.
And for the listeners out there who are actually listening, Kim is actually my soul sister. We have the opposite signs, sun and moon signs going. So I'm a Cancer and she's a Sagittarius, but our moon signs, mine is a Sagittarius and she is a Cancerian. So we have a lot of fun interacting with each other because we can almost read each other without even having to talk. So
it's like I'm the flip side of Katie, because when your moon is in a sign, that is your personality. So I'm a Sagittarius, but my personality is that of a Cancer, and it makes for an interesting time in your life because I like to be practical about the things that I do. But then the Cancer side of me comes in and says, well, we don't want to stomp all over their feelings while we're doing it. So, with the changes that are taking effect for this year, I think it's really important to take advantage of that energy and to step out of your comfort zone and align yourself with your authentic soul self. I would say that for this year, the takeaway for this year of the 2020 year is taking advantage of that energy to create your own reality, because reality is based upon the actions that you do. And I think it's about time that we did things differently and brought changes about, whether it be globally or whether it be with our environment or socially, to be responsible and to take a look at everything that we are doing on a global level. So I do feel that changes that it will inspire for this year will be surprising, and in some ways I think it will be shocking, because Jupiter and Sagittarius is all about the shock and awe effect, and changes can be swift and they can be very unsettling. And I do believe that there'll be a lot of upsets in the world in the coming 2020 year, Katie.
I agree. And there will be more as long as people go back to being themselves or finding out who they truly are, they will shine. And the fact that Venus has aligned with Jupiter and moving forward into Venus going ahead to play with Capricorn will provide, if people are looking for stability in their relationships, next month is this is a precursor, but come December will be a precursor for those who want that stability, that security, those finding the love of their life, or whatever the relationship that they're looking for. There are other aspects to not just astrologically, but by releasing all of those negative thought patterns that we've had for the entire year. And many people who are going through transformational periods, and they have been since 2017. And might I add, the event that's happening tonight does not happen for another 2 years. So call it what you will. The new moon in Sagittarius, come 10 o'clock Eastern tonight, is actually a portal, very similar to the one that we saw, 1111 portal that opened up in November last year. This, again, is another portal and another leap of faith that people are being guided by intuition. And if you're not used to your intuition, it's that gut feeling that you have to have a deeper inner knowing about who you are, who you want to become. And by knowing that, even if you get a pen and paper handy and you write it down what your intention is, set that intention, because come 10 o'clock tonight, those intentions can be manifested throughout 2020. So, for instance, if you want a better job, you want a better love life, you want a better relationship, and relationships is very, very broad. If you want more money, if you want a better house, you want any upgrade in your life that will lead you to that next level, whatever that may be. If it's to be more creative, then tonight is the night that you would set that intention and put it into motion. Now, just because you manifest an intention does not mean that it will automatically come to you. With all intentions that are set and all manifestations that happen, you must work. There has to be some sort of action to back that up. You cannot just talk about it and just hope that some miracle, it may be happy-go-lucky, but still, you are going to have to put that in action. It means that you are going to have to work for that. But an intention that can be set is guiding you in the right direction. And there are synchronicities and serendipitous moments that will happen to let you know that the universe is guiding you in the right direction. You have to assert yourself to get to that point. And without it, we will fall back into the same category of what the running theme that's been going on for the entire year, and that is the burning of what we have. So taking away everything that does not serve us and throwing it out, throwing it in the trash, and using that as a growing force to rise like the phoenix for 2020. Now,
yeah, I'm feeling the same thing that you are saying, Katie. It's going back to what I call 0 point.
Yep, it's an evolutionary cycle that happens every so often. So when and not only that, in 2020 there are a hell of a lot of eclipses that are happening, and so harnessing the power of the moon can help one greatly set their intentions. So we're planting seeds, everything that we have been doing, shedding that trash, shedding what does not serve us for the last 12 months will come to fruition in such a way that we will be rewarded in 2020. So let's just say all the work that has been done in the last 12 months, if you're looking for finance in particular, or you're looking for that relationship, and you've been working on that all of this year, doing what you need to do to transform yourself, the rising of the phoenix will happen in 2020. You will rise to that next level, and you will get rewarded for everything that you've done over the last 12 months.
I agree with that totally. That in order to build yourself, you have to start from a place that is fresh. You can't build a new home unless you create a space of land where you can build that home. You can't plant anything unless the soil is ready to receive those seeds. So your mind, if you think of it, has to be ready to receive those seeds that you are planting, or ideas, or goals, or dreams, or plans that you have in your mind. But it isn't just the planting of those seeds, it is the action that you take behind this. A lot of people wish, and wishes don't make changes in your life. They have to understand that the action behind is your energy, that is your life force behind yourself, your passion, your drive. Those things are the things that you need to bring forward to make those changes. And Sagittarius coming in is a very powerful force. It's a very strong force. So if you are stuck in a rut and you haven't been able to move forward, this might give you the extra energy that you need to move forward. But the action has to come from the individual themselves to
There is such
make those
thing.
changes.
There is such thing as free will. Everything that we do has a cause and effect, but at the end of the day, it is your choice. So if you choose to be down and not want any of those goodness, it's just like, if you do not want the knowledge and the wisdom in order to move forward, if you do not want that new car, if you don't want that new house, you don't want that new relationship, you don't want that, whatever the case may be, if you don't want that, then it'll be a repeated cycle that continues on and on and on and on until one day you wake up and see that everything that you've always had is always right in front of you.
And that's a choice. Those are choices too. People can bypass and decide not to use the energy that is around them, or in the resources that are available to make change and difference in their life. For those that do, 2020 is a great year to take advantage of all the hard work that they have done to progress to the next level, as you said, in moving in the direction that is their authentic soul, self, and purpose of life. So for those that are hoping to get a free ride, there are no free rides.
It's not going to happen.
No.
And unfortunately, for those people out there who are saying, well, it's too hard, I give up, it's what if, my shoulda, coulda, woulda. Nah, I dare you to keep saying that, because you'll never transform, you'll never develop, you'll never find yourself. A lot of people are used to having being sucked into conformity. And the biggest problem with that is that you'll never become an individual with free will and being able to make your own decisions. And with that said, a lot of people out there, it's called, if you don't want to work on yourself, or you don't want to see the true potential of that you can bring into this world, in just not just for yourself, but for others around you, your community, your tribe, your country, your planet, your humanity at large. If you cannot see that, then a missed opportunity will be there, and someone else will take your place. And that's the last thing that people want to have, is having someone else. So if you want that manifest that dream job for 2020, and you say, oh, okay, it's too hard, somebody else is going to take that place, and you're going to be sitting there forever in regret that you should have taken that place. I did an inspirational speech actually last Thursday. I dare people to come at me and tell me that they just give up. It's too hard. It's coulda, shoulda, woulda. What if? Being indecisive does not help one's psyche. It really doesn't. And by moving forward and taking into account everything, it doesn't mean that you have to change everything, because we're imperfectly perfect. It does not mean that at all. Transformation means working on our shadow, embracing the shadow for what it is, and letting go. I tell, and finding the light. I tell people all the time, instead of using the dark in order to succeed, embrace the dark for what it is in order to grow, and then establish yourself in the light. And when you establish yourself in the light, you will see much more is in front of you, and you will gain much more in life. Kim?
Yes, what I have found is that human beings, they only learn through polarity. And in order for us to understand something, we have to see the bitter to understand the sweetness of the situation. And it's in that polarity, once you learn what that lesson is. Our problem is we repeat those patterns of behaviors over and over and over, and take it on to be our normal. That's what I usually do. And those are what I call self-sabotaging behaviors that we have, and recognizing those behaviors within, releasing them, and clearing the space, and going back to the beginning, which is your ground zero, then we're able to receive and be a more evolved person. And I think that is what is the goal of the spiritual community, is to enlighten those that are interested to learn more about the spiritual path. And the spiritual path has nothing to do with religion. It has a lot to do with you understanding yourself at soul level, and understanding yourself as a spiritual being. And we are all spiritual beings. We all have the capacity to understand and know everything if we choose to. But in saying that, a lot of people are still stuck in what I call a lower vibrational level. And they're still practicing their, as you said, the self-limiting behaviors, and wallowing in those behaviors is never going to get them to the next level. So hopefully by listening to this program today, it will give them an opportunity to think about it and make a choice, and maybe to choose a better life for themselves if that resonates with them. You can never choose for someone, and you can never fix someone. A lot of people think that they can fix someone else or change someone else. Those are things that you cannot do. The only person who could ever change you is you. So when you look at yourself in the mirror and you're not happy, the only person you need to be speaking with, as Michael Jackson said, is the man in the mirror. You're talking to the man in the mirror. That's you. You are the man in the mirror. So change begins with yourself. And if you want to take advantage of the influences and the energies that are coming into play for this 2020 year, we're all rooting for you. We're all supporting you. We're all sending you love. And we're all helping you to aspire and inspire yourselves. But we can't do it for you. You're going to have to do it for yourselves. So I'm sure there are people out there that have their own story or their own, you know, problems. And, you know, there are a lot of people who have addictions or mental illness or different conditions that they're dealing with. And life is difficult and life is hard. And, you know, they're probably sitting there thinking, how can I take advantage of this and how can I do this? Change sometimes is just a small, simple step, and taking and chunking down what you want to do instead of looking maybe at the big picture of change. Maybe look at the small picture of change. Maybe the small change in some people's lives might be getting up and going and having their breakfast and going out of their home because they're afraid, and they're afraid to walk outside their door. That might be a big deal for them. But if they can chunk it down to something that works for them, that is all they can do. No one is expecting them to do more. Everyone has to choose a goal in their life that they can do. And everyone is different in terms of what they can and cannot do. So, Katie, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I was just going to add something else. While this transformation process is actually happening, might I remind people that authenticity is priceless. Going back to, we live in a world where authenticity is a rare commodity. And if you want to really stand out in the crowd, especially in the dating scene, bring the true self to the table. Now, thankfully, there are ways to do this, and the new moon ritual will allow you to do this in such a way. And I can tell you how to do this and how to live your truth, not just today, but every single day of your life. Now, with that said, here are the principles. Number 1, set the guiding principle for your life. So today is the new moon times are best for starting things, okay? To live authentically, you must start by setting and guiding principles for your life. Not my life, your life. Not everybody else's life around you, your life.
Exactly.
After all, you aren't going to be 100% on point every single day, and it's not even expected. That's called being human. But know that if you know your principles and you can see them right in front of your eyes, and yes, it involves some crafting, you know, you will be more aligned with your truth as time goes by. And to do this, you will need to chart a piece of paper, pencils, coloring, whatever you want. You can draw it. You can be an artist. You can write it. It doesn't matter. But it's your journal. If you don't maintain a journal, you are not setting those principles that you have. These are goals that you set. Brainstorm those principles and use them as your guide. You won't get it right the first time. And ideally, you should allow yourself up to 3 days to mull over things and come up with more principles or correct the ones that you already had. And I'll give you some examples. Don't make excuses for your bad behavior. Be kind to people, but set healthy boundaries. Challenge your friends when they do something wrong or unethical. Be blunt if you have to. You and I both know, Kim, that with the Sagittarius, we're blunt, honest to a degree, to a fault. Can't help it. But it's appreciated by people who are willing to accept the next step. But once you are happy with your final principles, write them on a fresh sheet of paper so that you have everything in one place. Stick it up to a wall. Doesn't matter what you want to do. But then I want you to cut out long strips of colored paper and write your principles on them with markers. I want you to arrange them on a chart paper to see what it actually looks like that is most aesthetically pleasing to you, and glue those strips down once you're okay with it. Make a piece of art. Stick the chart paper on a wall and glance at it. I don't care if you put it on a mirror. Replace the mirror and put that picture right there. I mean, of course, you're going to use it for your hair and whatever, but still, it's a good place to put it. Just like grabbing a whole heap of Post-its and sticking it up on your bathroom mirror. First place you're going to go to see when you get up in the morning is probably the bathroom. But it's a good place when you make these and create these principles for all areas of your life, including your work, your romantic relationships, your friendships, your family, pursuing your dreams, giving back to the community, whatever the point is. The whole point of it is to help you become a well-rounded individual with character and integrity who can live a life that they are proud of because it rings true and deep within you.
Well, it also reinforces and makes what you want to do resonate with you on a daily basis, because you are the man in the mirror.
Exactly. And if you can't do that, educate yourself. Sagittarius, of all the astrological signs, is both the sign of the teacher and the student. So the best way to respect is through educating yourself more. The subject doesn't matter. Education is education, period. You don't need to join a class or sign up for a course to do it. You can watch a video on YouTube or listen to a podcast or just listen to my show or just start reading a book. Get off technology and read an actual book.
I like books.
Yeah, so do I. Hell, I'm a writer, so that comes natural to me.
Now, it would be funny if you said you don't like books.
Oh, hell. I might be in trouble. I'm not living authentically. Uh-oh. I might have a problem with myself.
Yeah, exactly. And it's good if you read a book on something that you've never read before, or introduce yourself to something you've never done before.
Live on the wild side, seriously. There's more to life than to sit there and be stern about, what education is. Make it fun. I mean, if education is walking out in the forest in the middle of nature, or doing something, being silent and meditating underneath a tree, then I don't know. Your enlightenment is through meditation. You're still learning. You're still learning. You can from the external environment that you are in.
A lot of people think if you delve into the spiritual end of it, that you're going to sit in a corner somewhere and contemplate your navel. But that isn't true, because in meditation, and it's something that can be done, I think, worldwide, because if we were all to take a few minutes in the morning and in the evening and quiet our mind, we can get in touch with how we actually feel.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And maybe release those limiting views that we have, or behaviors that we have playing in our mind.
Well, I know for a fact that I have previously said, I dare someone to tell me that they're perfect. I dare someone to tell me to stand up in front of a mirror and face yourself with full, utter honesty. The good and the bad side of ourselves. Allow yourself to be uncomfortable. Stare at yourself in the mirror. Because at the end of the day, something magical will happen. And after a few moments, you might have to start having a conversation with yourself.
I think for me, the most difficult thing is I am. And if you do that for a half hour, I am love, I am truth, I am knowledge, I am spirit. And you do that for a half hour, but then you acknowledge all the things that you are in I am that are not so pleasant. You might be surprised of what you really are. And
Mm-hmm.
if you write all those things down in that journal and look at it, you might be shocked at who you are.
So if you were to look at yourself in a mirror and talk to yourself, face yourself in the mirror, ask your reflection, do you want to say something to me? Do you think that I am living a good life? Am I in denial about something? Why am I so, whatever the adjective is of your choice, all the time? What are my greatest strengths? Where can I improve? And if you were to do this exercise without the mirror, your ego would most likely supply you with a lot of bullshit. Sorry if I said that word live on air, but I'm going to say it like it is. Bullshit to make you feel good and feel good about yourself. But you can't hide from those flinches and drop gazes when you're standing in front of a mirror. You can't hide yourself from yourself.
Never.
And these reactions will tell you where you need to be or what to do in order to work on yourself. But don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up.
But at the same token, Katie, you have to give yourself and create a space of love.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I was just about to say. It's the fact you just read my mind. Stop it. No. Don't worry. Kim's good at that. It's all good. But basically, I was just about to say that the fact that you're putting yourself in front of the mirror and giving yourself the effort to do so, to take that reflection, makes you stand apart from most people in a good way, and it teaches you to be compassionate about yourself. And if you're able to have a jovial conversation with your reflection and identify your shortcomings without falling apart, you should congratulate yourself for putting in the work to make yourself healthy. And at the end of the day, I will be more than happy to give you a pat on the shoulder.
I think that we are our own worst enemy, and we should be our own best friend. Is my takeaway from this 2020 year. Is, it would be a wonderful thing to start a kindness project, and in the kindness project, to be kind, and to come to people from our heart chakra, and if you come from a place of love, it's really hard to swear at people or degrade them or to speak to them in a degrading tone or a tone that's angry or hateful. So I think it's really important to spend time to connect to your heart and speak to people from your heart, and start that kindness project where we are kind to one another and speak to them like they are your sister, or they are your brother, or maybe they are your mother or father. But if you think of them from your heart and think of them that maybe there's something they misunderstand, try to be the better man or be the better woman and come from your heart and from kindness. Because there's an expression, and they say, let peace begin with me. So if you let peace begin with you, then you have changed the world. You have made a difference. You have made the world a better place.
Exactly.
So in closing, I realize you have another guest coming on, Katie. So in closing, I just want to say that if there is anyone out there that would like to join, I have a free interactive group called Connecting to Energy, Developing Your Skills, that is on Facebook. I do provide spiritual mentoring, and in the new year, I will be launching my own web business called beyondme.online, which will be in effect in the new year. I am a psychic medium. I do energy readings, and I will be doing mentoring and tailoring programs to those that who want to develop spiritually. I want to thank Katie for having me come on, and I really enjoyed having this conversation. I want to um, leave with the intention that I hope that the Kindness Project does catch on and that we can all be better people for the 2020 year. Thank you.
I agree. I agree. And I thank you so much, Kim, for being on my show. Um, you are more than welcome to come on at any time, and even on any of my topics that I talk about. There's always a space that will be held open for you. Um, but
Thank you, Katie.
and again, for people out there, you are listening to Soma Fusion Radio with your host Katie Kamara. We are just about to take on another guest because it is now 7 o'clock. I will mention to you that the call-in number once again is there's pick of two numbers you can call: 415-762-9988 or 646-568-7788. You will need to follow the verbal instructions and enter the meeting ID 522657278. So that's the meeting ID 522657278. And press the pound key twice when entering, and you will join the call. Join us on our call. I will also mention too that that Kim will be available through her group if you need to ask any questions as well. If you do have a specific question and you cannot get in contact with Kim, you can forward them on to me via my email or through social media. That is Katie, somafusion life coach at gmail.com. Or you can find me on social media, obviously, through my pages, Soma Fusion, Mind, Body, and Soul on Facebook, or Katie Kamara, Life Coach. I want to thank you so much, Kim, for being on my show once again.
Thank you, Katie.
And you have a lovely evening. You are welcome to hang out with us if you'd like to. It's totally up to you.
Okay. Well, carry on.
No problem.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. So for those people out there who are wondering who the next guest is, we have Erin Koczur, if I pronounce that right. She will obviously correct me if I'm wrong. But I will mention too, again, the call-in number is 415-762-9988 or 646-568-7788. And enter the meeting ID 522657278 and press the pound key twice to participate. I will mention too that now that we have Erin on, we will be doing psychic and tarot readings. Of course, we'll have a chat with Erin and she can tell us all about who she is and what she does. But firstly, I will let you know that Erin is a mother of two wonderful daughters and two fur kids. She is a natural psychic medium with over 30 tarot oracle experience, 30 years worth, and a Reiki master for 10 years. She's also a woman's mindset coach, certified hypnotherapist, NLP, and CACR. With a lifelong passion for learning, Erin has devoted her time to exploring, learning, and expanding her knowledge of people, culture, topics from A to Z, aromatherapy to Zen, and her own personal growth. Her greatest joy is to enlighten, enrich, and empower people, and uses a combination of her abilities, knowledge, and experience to achieve this. So, Erin, I would like to welcome you on the show. How are you this evening?
Well, hi there, Katie. First
Hi.
off, thank you for having me here. Very, very happy to be here this evening. I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. And I am really excited to be here tonight. Not not that I would be less on other nights, but tonight, what makes this really, really special is when you and I were talking earlier, and we were talking about the fact that this is the new moon, where it's for planting those seeds, it's for making those dreams, it's for really putting out into the universe what you want. But it's also one of the very last new moons of not just the year, but the decade.
Exactly. Exactly. How exciting is that? It's time to party.
I know. And so to have this opportunity to give some insight or direction to people, to, hopefully make not only their holidays maybe more peaceful, more joyful, but also to give them the tools and the stuff so that they can really kickstart, all of those things that they want to achieve. And so that the next decade, the roaring 20s, can really be fabulous.
Go off with a bang, because we all need fireworks in our life, right?
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Roaring 20s. And my daughter likes to tell me that. I hadn't made that connection, and she just turned 20. So she'll be turning 21 at the end of next year. So she's going to start the decade at 20 and do all of her 20s in the roaring 20s. So she's excited. And I've got one of my fur kids is letting me know that she's less than excited. So please apologize.
You can bring her a part of the show. That's fine. We love everybody.
I'm going to close my office door and see if that
This is folks. This is live air. I mean, and anything can happen. I've been on shows. I've been on shows where there's kids in the background. I mean, it's supposed to be, a conversation.
Human. I don't want anyone to ever lose sight of that. No matter how aware, enlightened, educated, experienced, whoever is, we're still human.
Exactly.
And I think when you show people that, it makes it so less daunting. A lot of times we build this thing up in our head, and we see somebody and they're like, oh, well, they do this, this, this. And we think that absolutely every aspect of their life is charmed. It always has been. And I want to demystify that. We are all still human. Let's not take that humanity out of it, that individuality out of it. And I really think it helps people and gives them permission to be themselves and not to hold themselves up to some ideal that they literally created in their head.
I agree. Because most people, like I was just saying earlier to Kim, we are so attached to a lifestyle wherein we envy a lot of other people, and we, instead of emulating that, emulating what we could be, we tend to just follow in their footsteps, riding on the coattail of other people, and being other people's shadow in order to be somebody. And that is a total different, it's a wrong way about having the human experiences.
Well, because you lose your individuality. Now, absolutely, to see someone and say, I really admire that, I really respect that, or that really excites me, I want to know more, I want to emulate, I want to add that to my life. Oh my gosh, absolutely, because guess what? That's what teachers are for. That's what, if you didn't want to learn something, there's forget the books, forget courses, forget teachers, forget, blah, blah, blah. From learning how to blow a bubble to solving some sort of nuclear machine issue, which I can tell you is not going to be me. But don't lose yourself. So look at the steps, look at the mechanics, look at the material, take it in. Absolutely, having a mentor, having a teacher, having a coach, all of that, yes, but then apply it to yourself. Take that tool and make it yours.
Exactly.
You don't have to, you can study cooking and you can watch Julia Childs and read her books, but it doesn't mean you have to be Julia Childs. You can learn the techniques, you can learn the flavor combinations, you can learn the hows, but then still make it your own.
And on top of that, by holding yourself back and saying that you can't do it, or by emulating it and saying that you want to emulate, but you don't want to get it to a point where we're saying, well, it's too, that whatever life that they lived is too hard, I can't do it myself. Nuh-uh.
People, the majority, I'm not going to say everybody, so anything I'm saying is not a blanket statement. However, in my line of work, which is connecting with people on a very deep level, whether I am doing a reading, and at which point I'm tapping into their energy, or I'm doing a mentoring, or I'm doing a coaching session, or I'm doing a hypnotherapy session, or, Reiki, whatever I am doing, it's very intimate. It's very one-on-one. And I have found that people, the majority, are looking for permission. We don't realize it, but we're looking for permission, not just permission to say, hey, go ahead, give it a try. They want permission to fail, that if they don't do it, if it doesn't come out right, or the way they thought, or this or that, if for some reason it doesn't live up to the expectation in their head, they want permission to know beforehand that that's okay. That's what really stops most people from doing things. It's fear, and wanting someone to say it's okay. That's what they're really looking for. And, I was having an interesting conversation with myself on the way home tonight. Does anyone else ever do that? Do you just have conversations?
No, I do that. In actual fact, I do that all the time. I actually laugh and giggle to myself, and I have conversations and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I'm planning out the day. I'm actually not planning out the day. I'm actually, I'm consciously writing in my head. I can't stop. I'm a writer.
I get that. But I had this interesting conversation with myself, and I was realized this came to me. The majority of, say, you go for a job interview, one of the number one questions across the board that they're going to ask you is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years? And now people that have been getting ready for their interviews, they kind of have that answer. But they're thinking only in terms of their profession or their career or something along those lines. How many people say to their friend or their loved one, hey, where do you want to be in 5 years? What do you want your life to be like? What do you want to keep the same, but what do you want different? Not only do we not even ask those around us, that we would surely support once they told us, and we would be out of our minds to help them to get it implemented and cheer them across the way. We don't ask ourselves. We don't even ask ourselves. And just kind of sit and think about that for a moment. Someone listening in tonight, because this was me too at one point. Don't think I'm just some know-it-all. It's, I'm a learn it just like everybody else. And it's like, wow, when was the last time you sat back and said, where do I, the person, want to be in 5 years? And it can be in any aspect of your life: romance, geography, where you live, or the type of structure you live in. It could be your profession. It could be a hobby. It could be a personal goal, whatever. And we don't ask ourselves that. And then when you do ask yourself and you start coming up with things, you maybe will allow yourself to dream, like, oh, well, that'd be kind of nice, and this would be nice, and that would be nice. But the thing that makes dreams come true are goals. And a goal is simply a dream that's been given a deadline. That's what a goal is. It's a dream that's been given a deadline. And you can push that deadline. If, say, you get to that date and you're not ready or it didn't happen, no problem. Let's push this now. We'll give it an extra so many weeks, months, or whatever. But that's a goal. And unless you have a goal, you don't take action. And if you don't take action, then you're waiting for someone else or something else to just bring it to you. And you're not taking any action of your own with your energy and within your energy field to let the universe know and to let your mind know, because your mind is what runs the show, people. When you start taking some action, you let everybody across the board, not just here on this planet, but in the universe, you let your brain know, you let your body know, hey, this is what I want. And your focus is always now going to be open to those opportunities. It's now going to be open to the ways, and it's not going to feel so draining because there's a passion behind it. It's something you want to achieve. And so I was thinking about that and how we are at the end of the year. And I wondered how many people have asked themselves, and not even if you don't want to go 5 years ahead, maybe that feels like a little too
yeah.
All right. Where do I want to be in 1 year? In 1 year. And then give yourself permission. And if you need it, guess what? Miss Erin Koczur right now, right here tonight at 7:17 p.m. Eastern Time on November 26, 2019. I give you permission. I give you permission to sit down somewhere for 15 minutes, ask yourself where you want to be in a year, jot that stuff down. I give you permission to feel good about wanting that. I give you permission to stumble. I give you permission to maybe even fall on your butt. Yes, though, you need to get back up. I give you permission to do what is right for you, to make those dreams come true, to work with the universe and the energies right now. Sagittarius is about having that courage. And, the new moon is about that new thing and that planting seeds. And it's just the timing. It's just like, yes, the timing. So I was thinking about all of these things and having this conversation with myself tonight.
Well, what could be more worse than to sit there and say, hey, well, I'm just going to wait for permission to do whatever I need, whatever it is that I need to do. But at the same time, I'm going to sit there and also say, well, hey, I need to do this. I'm going to get off my ass at once and for all and say, hey, finally, I'm going to take that risk. Jump off the cliff. What's the worst that could happen?
I literally did that many times in my life, but just this year, I was so blessed to be having a conversation with somebody. I think it might have been 2 years ago, 2.5 years, maybe something like that. And they were giving us a speech, a talk. And I'm going to paraphrase it because
sure.
I don't remember the exact words, but talk about an epiphany, like somebody just came and smacked me upside the front of my head and said, are you listening? And they were talking about how we invest time, money, talent, resources. We'll invest in a house. We'll invest in a car. We will invest in our children. We'll invest in maybe the clothes. We'll invest in a lot of things. And these are things they are good things to invest in. You may invest in like organic food. But we're always putting time, talent, treasure. But when it comes to investing in our personal self, it's like, no. And so he said, if you don't see the value in investing in yourself, and if you don't invest in yourself, then who is?
Mm-hmm.
It's you, your body, it's your being, it's your physical being houses who you are, and it's from who you are that all you do comes from. And yet it's like neglecting the car, neglecting the vehicle that you need to use to make it through the rest of your life. And I'm not even just talking about, exercise and drinking water and eating right, getting enough sleep. Absolutely, those things are there. But anything that's going to bring you joy, that's going to spark your passion or keep your passion going are just as important. It's just as important. The energy and how you vibrate, the frequency that you're at, it affects not only the physical being in your cells, and like you can literally age yourself or slow down aging with your being. You know, that whole young at heart.
Mm-hmm. And again,
It
that's all.
really,
It's all a choice. It is all comes down to a choice. We all have a choice in life to be or not to be.
but no one ever
But that is a
think
good.
about it. Think
Mm-hmm.
about
Mm-hmm.
TV. Think about movies. Think about you know, your regular books or magazines. Think about even the religions. And there's many, many religions in the world. How many of them, and I've studied many, and I've studied many cultures, and so I'm not just making this up. There really isn't a place where someone, unless it's going to be your parent that looks you in the face and says, hey, it's okay. Or maybe when you grow up and you find the right person and you have a best friend or a romantic partner, and they'll say, hey, how about you do for you? Otherwise, nobody even realizes that they're not investing in themselves, their mind, their emotions, their spirit, their energy, their vibration, their thoughts. They don't even realize they're not doing it. And then when it does come to their awareness, they're waiting for permission. Well, you know, I got to take care of this, or well, you know. And he was having a talk, and he said, if you don't invest in yourself, who's supposed to?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not investing in you, why are you not valuing yourself enough to invest in yourself? And it really smacked me upside the head. And because of that, a certification that I had already had in hypnosis, I was like, you know what? I would always wanted to take it further for no other reason than just because I wanted to study more. I wanted to do it. You know, I do readings. I've done it since I was a child. Yes, I do energy work and, you know, things of that nature and Reiki, but I love to learn. And I had my hypnosis, and I would do like regression therapy for people, a lot of guided meditations, things to help with anxiety, you know, different issues. But I wanted more. And because he said that, I literally sat there that night. I don't even know how much I had in the bank at the time. Okay. I mean, I couldn't tell you, but I can guarantee you.
We've been there.
I can guarantee you, if it was like 3 digits with the .00, I was doing good. And I said, wow, I would like a better degree. I don't want just the certification. I want a degree. Lo and behold, I made that decision. See, that was an action. I made a decision that I was like, I want to go further. I made a decision. Synchronicity. Not even, I don't know how many days later, doing something random on the computer, all of a sudden this thing pops up. And lo and behold, it was not only close to where I lived, it was something that I was able to make payments, and I was able to end up becoming a board certified clinical hypnotherapist.
Well done.
And that's because he said that. And I told him, I didn't even realize I was waiting for someone to give me permission, because I thought I had to validate it and say, well, yeah, I should spend the money on this because I'll use it for clients or this or that. I felt like I had to validate it rather than just saying, I want to do this. And I was waiting for permission, and I didn't realize it. And after that, as I've gone through life the past couple of years, it's come up, and I realized, wait a minute, I don't need to wait for permission. I don't need to validate this. Talk with yourself. And I've made choices, and I've gone forward, and I've done things, and my life from that moment to now, you wouldn't even recognize my life. And so that's why I'm so passionate to help people do that for themselves, because I want that for everybody. I really do.
And that's exactly the reason why we get into our profession, is the fact that we have that drive. When we don't ask for permission, we just go ahead and do what naturally comes to us. We end up with better lives, and we're able to understand the meaning and the wisdom and the knowledge that we gain through doing that, and by teaching other people to do the same thing, by investing in ourselves. And that and so at the end of the day, the collective consciousness, what we end up doing is collectively teaching others how to do the same thing.
And then here's
And
the
we grow
and then here's
and
the
grow
cherry.
and we
Yes.
grow and we grow and we grow, and we spend a whole lifetime wondering, well, hold on. No, we don't even look back. We really don't. We take one step off the cliff, we jump, and that's the end of that story.
But guess what? It gets even better. This is the part that makes it, because I love children. I love children. I was a preschool teacher for a long time.
Oh.
I would do that by day, and my readings and my Reiki and my workshops by night and weekend. I just love children. When we incorporate and do that for ourselves, that's what we're going to teach them. We're going to teach them, guess what? It's okay. They're not going to have to learn it 30, 40, 50 years down the road. So now they start their life like that. Wow. Think about not only how wonderful and more joyful, okay, and they're going to be open like that, and then they're going to teach theirs. And as the generations go, guess what, guys? You just became that pebble in the pond that ripples out. And as we all ripple, guess what? We've raised the energy. We've had happier, healthier people. And yes, I am one of those that will believe that, you know what? There'll be more peace than there will be war.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't go out and stand on a corner. I mean, we could go out on a corner with a sign,
We could try it.
whatever. But the way to do it is to be it. And you start with yourself. And you're gifting yourself. And when you gift yourself, you end up gifting everyone around you. And then that gift keeps going and going and going.
You're teaching by example. It's exactly why we do what we do. And when I started out my studies and whatnot, I just wanted more and more and more and more. And now I'm just about to go study neuroscience and neuroanatomy.
That's cool.
Because I got addicted. I really
did.
I got addicted, and I couldn't stop.
I can see how you would go there. Well, you know that right now I have my first certification in NLP, but you know that I'm finishing my degree,
Mm-hmm.
which I finish that next year. I'm so excited.
I'm so happy for you.
And again, I started it because when I was getting my clinical, and I just went there, and I was like, oh my God, I thought it was ice cream. I'm like, more. I just couldn't get enough. I was like, ah! And I just share it with everybody,
Mm-hmm.
I do, because it's like there are all of these wonderful healing tools. I am absolutely fine with traditional medicine. I mean, listen, if I've got, a broken leg or something, yep, you guys help me out. If I need a surgery, yes, I want it. I also, though, love that there are so many holistic tools.
Alternatives.
EFT, hypnotherapy, massage, Reiki, acupuncture, acupressure, reflexology, tuning forks, sound healing. I mean, there's so many. And what's great is you may not resonate with this one or that one, but surely you're going to resonate with something. It's something you can do for yourself, help yourself. You don't have to swallow something. And spreading that knowledge. Again, I'm passionate about it.
The thing is that I really don't understand, and maybe I do, is the fact that why are people so fearful for these alternative therapies or holistic methods apart from traditional medicine? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with traditional medicine, but there are alternatives that can help you grow even more, and not just grow, but heal. We all want...
Well, you know what? Because until the majority gives it the thumbs up, it's really, that's what it's about. Until the majority gives it a thumbs up, it's kind of looked at as, well, that's not how we do things. That's not how we've always done things.
I'm very, very anti-social, anti monkey see, monkey do. I hate that crap. I really do. And the reason why is because I'm not practicing my individualism because of it. I know I'm a shining star. I know I'm imperfectly perfect. I'm perfect but imperfect. I know that there is a lot to do. And that's going to be a lifelong of study and investment and everything like that. And whatever I can invest into myself, I pass on to somebody else. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and say, and just look at you in hope that you might change. But without that free will, all I can do is bring you to your highest level, your highest potential, in order to you to say, hey, I'm not going to go grab a baseball bat, but at least I'm going to give you that friendly nudge and say, hey, there are some issues. I'm going to be honest, and being honest instead of being fearful will allow you to move out of an unstuck from an unstuck position into a place where you can hold space to transform.
Well, as you know, we don't all come with the same purpose. Not all of our paths are the same. And there are some people that, having someone else be the trailblazer, it's like, yeah, you be, and I'm going to stay with the masses and we're going to, get going this way. And fear is, as you know, with your training and your degrees, is something that was established at an early point, and that if I do blank, I'm either going to get in trouble, I'm going to get hurt, something bad, this, that, and they're going through that filter. And quite honestly, they don't realize they're going through that. They don't even realize that.
They don't.
So you can't, I don't look at someone and go, okay, I may tell them, yes, you're coming from a place of fear, but, I don't really judge that, because I realize they don't even know where that came from, where it started. It was just always there, this phobia, this, that, whatever. Some things they can recall and it makes sense, but there's a lot of things that they don't have the instant recall. Finding out though that there are really, really gentle healing methods that can propel them, not only just get past that and heal it, but really propel them into a freedom of being more choosing. While we all choose, sometimes our choice is to just go with the flow because I don't know what to do and at least I'm still moving. Or sometimes we fear that it's too hard and we don't want to fail.
And we get stuck.
We're going to be judged, or, things along those lines.
We get stuck in a place of convenience. It's too comfortable.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there. Yeah. I mean, there are those times when, let's be honest, when our energy, we're feeling low or whatever, we're like, yeah, I'm just going to hang out on this raft and we'll just get to where we need to go and let me be. Yeah.
Because life's so great and I need a tequila. It's all good.
Yes. Yes. So,
for the listeners out there, I just want to mention real quick, the call-in number is 415-762-9988. Follow the verbal instructions. Enter meeting ID 522-6572748. I forgot to mention just earlier that the numbers that I am mentioning right now are actually in the Facebook Live comments on the video itself, as well as YouTube. So if you go over to YouTube and if you go over to Facebook Live, if you're seeing us right there, the numbers are actually up there. So feel free, if you would like to ask any questions or would like a reading, feel free to give us a call.
I would like to take a moment to let your listeners know that I'm just releasing a special. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about, I'm always thinking, I told you that, here in the US, we're coming up on our holiday season, starting with Thanksgiving this week, and then Christmas and the New Year's and Hanukkah and other places in the world. They're, kicking off their winter holidays as well. And I started thinking about like the origins of Thanksgiving compared to the way it is celebrated and the meaning we have given it now, and about, the holidays, and especially New Year, when everyone pretty much wants to be reflective or make plans for, the future. And I was really thinking on that and feeling the gratitude, mm-hmm. For how much I've grown and how forward I've moved in my life. And I heard on a Hallmark Christmas movie, ooh, they said something like, when you help somebody, you're giving them the best of yourself. And when you allow them to help you, you're giving them that gift as well, to be the best of themselves. Mm-hmm. So I really was thinking about that. And I said, you know what? I always do some sort of a, holiday package or something. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. So I am offering 2 different things.
Hello.
We have a caller, actually. So do you want to just mention what the holiday package is before we bring on the caller?
Yes. Yeah. Let me just say, the first one is book a session with me, whether it's for a reading, coaching, and I will gift you, and I'll give you that gift certificate that you can give to pay it forward and give someone a half-hour session with me absolutely free. You just,
wow.
This is good up until the end, December 31st. You just purchase for yourself, and I'm going to give you a half-hour packet to give to someone else. The other thing that I'm going to do is, if someone would like to have a coaching, intuitive coaching session with me, I'm giving away for absolutely free, no strings, a 30-minute call. If you are looking to either clarify where it is you want to be in a year or the next 5 years, or if you would like to know some steps on how to put your dream into a goal format, and then what some tools are that you can use to get to your goal, I would really love to do that, because I know if I can help that person with that, the changes that they're going to make in their life is going to be a ripple effect, and it's going to help many others.
I like that.
So they can reach me on Facebook at Lightworker Erin Koczur. They can call directly at area code 908-386-2650. They can email me at erinkoczur@gmail.com. All they need to do is let me know, hey, I'd like to schedule a session, and we'll do that, and I'll get that gift certificate out. Or they can say, hey, you know what? I would love someone to talk with me and help me make my dreams, get some clarity, and know what steps to take towards making my dreams goals and then achieving them. Just get in touch with me and we'll book your free 30 minutes.
Okay. That sounds absolutely wonderful. We'll get a repeat of that at there towards the end of the hour. But first off, we have a caller, area code 520. Who is on the air, and where are you from?
This is Spank Crazy Frank.
Hi, Frank. How are you?
Hi.
You're on the air with Erin. Would you like a reading?
Sure. I've never had one. Go for it.
All right. I'm sorry, your name?
Frank.
Yes, Frank Gagliardi is my full name.
Hi, Frankie. Is there any
Hi.
specific area of your life that you would like a little information on, or just in general?
Shoot, anything. Any positive stuff or negative. I can always work on the negative, right?
You know what? I love the fact that you said that. Any positive stuff. I do want to let you know that even if something comes up that maybe you don't want to hear, it's still positive because it's giving you a heads up, and you're always going to be given the information on your best course of action. So it's always positive. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I'm a mindset coach, and I just can't help it. I'm always working on the mindset.
Yeah.
Okay.
I try to do the same thing too.
Okay. First, they're telling me that you're really wonderful. You've achieved a lot. You really have achieved a lot of things in your life, and be proud. And be proud, and that you carry within you that you've been instrumental in keeping family history alive, whether it's some sort of traditions, oral stories, objects or something, but you have very much kept those who were before you, that you keep a lot of that going. Yeah, believe it or not.
Interesting. That's cool.
They're telling me that you do that, and that your ancestors, that you tend to get quite a bit of a crew around you. What's interesting is the majority are men. The majority.
Oh, really?
And I say that's interesting because usually it's like a real mixed bag, or a lot of, women in your past that have passed over, that whole maternal thing, they're usually there, but you've got a lot of guys. And you do have, I am picking up very much on Native in your back ancestry, and I'm sorry?
Oh, that's cool. I have a Native friend, and actually went to a holy ceremony, which is really cool.
It is suggested that as much nature stuff as you can do is really good for you, because when you're in nature, it's almost as if you plug in. You're not using up stored energy. You are literally like plugging into like the outlet. And
yeah, that's so true. Oh my goodness, I can't believe you're saying that. Wow. Well, let me, if you don't mind me sharing, I mean, I go by Frank Gagliardi, but my birth name is Francesco, and I was named after the Catholic saint who talked and helped the animals in Italy. And so I remember going over to a friend's house and seeing this little puppy dog. It wasn't a puppy, it was one of the smaller dogs. And the dog came to me and it was licking me, kind of licked the bottle I was holding. I'm like, well, that dog needs water. And sure enough, it did. They gave water. And so it's kind of like, yeah, a dog will lick things, right? But I kind of knew it needed water, right? So, yeah, I'm not 100% plugged in like that, but I kind of am in a way.
No, you are. The more things you can do out, like, honestly, I don't know if you do camping? Do you do some camping? If not,
not normally. No, I don't. I'm too spoiled with having, luxury things like, Levine and, sink and
if
cooking.
you can,
And,
it is suggested, even if all you do is take a weekend for yourself here and there.
Yeah.
It can be camping in a mobile home or something. It doesn't have to be a tent on the ground, but give yourself time in nature, because boy, does it ground you. It really grounds you. It makes you feel really peaceful, and it recharges you. So that's a really good thing for you, that I am hearing to suggest for you, that you look for ways to incorporate spending more time outside. You're bring a lot of balance to your life. Okay, there's a lot of stuff coming up for you, and having that energy balanced and set right and being recharged like that, it's going to open up some other things for you. So you're going to be surprised.
Oh, cool. I hope so.
But they're good surprises. You've got some really good stuff coming up. So I thank you.
Oh, nice.
Yep. I thank you for the opportunity to connect with you. And I do wish you
for sure.
a very, very happy Thanksgiving and Christmas. And if you would like to get in touch with me and we can do a full reading, I'm more than happy to.
Oh, that'd be cool. Well, first time for this, and it was fun. So thanks.
You're very welcome. Big hugs. Take care.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Frank, for
Bye-bye.
calling in. Bye-bye.
Oh, bye-bye.
Bye. Well, there you go. You got a caller. Is there anybody else out there that wants to get a reading? The number is 415-762-9988 and follow the meeting ID 522-6572-748 and press the pound key twice. So where were we at? Oh my God. I always love it when I have readings and that, because, readings not just you find out the answers to the very questions that you're searching for, but it also gives you that little bit of inspiration, a little bit of motivation and guidance as to what's the next step. What's the next step in people's lives?
You know what? That's one of the things that there is a lot of misunderstanding. Mm-hmm. There are different types of readers, and there are psychics, there's psychic mediums, there's so many different ways, and some have specialty areas, and it is not fortune telling. No. There's a difference between getting a reading and having a fortune telling. And a fortune telling is like, okay, this is like blank, 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 blank. And there you go. Okay. It's just like pulling things from the future out and just telling you that little bit. Here you go. This is going to go on. Mazel tov. Be well. A reading, for me especially, is we're going to connect, and first thing I'm going to do is tell you what the universe or your guides, guardians, and angels want you to know that they think is for your highest good. Okay, before we start, because what we think we want to know and what's most important is not always the same. They're like, no, need to tell you this. And then we look at the things that are coming up, but then it's going to tell you why. It's going to tell you what you're supposed to get out of it, how to maneuver it. And while there, of course, is free will, you've at least got a basic map, and it's so empowering. I honestly can say in all my years that I have never, ever, ever had one person walk away where they didn't feel empowered.
Mm-hmm. And that's the whole point. you know, as we're talking about in this show, we've been talking about spirituality. We've been talking about tarot readings and psychic abilities, and the general power, empowering of humanity, you know, at large. We tend to look at this new age spiritualism, fortune, whatever other people want to classify as fortune telling, but abilities, our gifts, as this all this woo woo stuff. It's not woo woo stuff. It's basically heart centered, heart alignment, and going back to who we are as people in order to grow. And that's really all it is. I've always had this one philosophy in my head. How do we love ourselves? How do we love another if we can't love ourselves? And I think a lot of people just misstep that whole philosophy, and they forget. And it goes back to the authenticity and finding out who you are, and having that little boost and that empowerment. It allows you to, and like I said, with the readings and that, yeah, it empowers you. It gives you a step in the guidance. But at the end of the day, we accept it for what it is. And if we choose to understand and we choose to take it on as, you know, take it with a grain of salt.
Free will, always.
Exactly.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
And that's the whole point of experiencing. You know, you have to in order to grow, to gain the knowledge and wisdom of life, you need to experience it. The best of experiences that we have, rather good, whether it be good or bad, is what we learn from. It's all, at the end of the day, it is all about transformation. And we have this whole running theme for 2020 is everything that we've spoken about so far. We've been almost on the air for 2 hours, has been the same recurrent theme that's going on and on and on. It is lifelong and it'll never stop. And it just happens to be that certain synchronicities, i.e. tonight, like the new moon in Sagittarius, allows us to put those intentions out there to the universe so that we can one day, hopefully next year, reap what we sow.
Yep. You know, another way is maybe for people to think of themselves as a plant. You have to water it. Sometimes it'll need some plant food, you know, like when we need some extra medicine or some supplements or something. It needs the sun. And it needs to be tended. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the plant, you expect that plant to grow. You don't look at it and say, I'm going to take care of this, knowing it's going to drop dead one day. You don't, that's not even it. A plant is meant to grow. And so are we. So we have to water ourselves and give ourselves that plant food and make sure we're getting the sunlight and that the conditions are the conditions that we need so that we can thrive and grow. Because when a plant thrives and grows, it's cleaning the air, it purifies, it does so much. And so do we. Exactly. The more we grow, the more we do for others.
Exactly. And by having the gift of giving and transformation allows us to grow and hopefully, even though chaos is in the air, have a great Thanksgiving.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So again, for anyone who is listening now or on a replay, I would love to hear from you. You can get in touch with me directly on Facebook at Lightworker Erin Koczur. You can get in touch with me directly. My office number is 908-386-2650. And you can also email me at erinkoczur@gmail.com. I offer readings and mindset coaching for transformation. I also have mindset transformational programs that I offer. You can also know that for the holiday season, for every session that you book with me, a paid session, I will give you a 30-minute session that you can use for yourself, or you can pay it forward and give a gift to somebody and let them get a mentoring coaching session with me. Or if you'd like to just get some, assistance in preparing yourself, whether it's looking at the beginning, who am I, what do I want, I need some clarity, or if it's the steps on, okay, I know what my dreams are, now what? I am offering 100% free 30-minute phone calls where I will assist you with that. So again, my phone number is 908-386-2650, and that is good up until December 31st.
And for those listeners out there that are trying to figure out how to say kosher or spell it, it is Koczur. Just so I thought I'd put it out there because some people don't know how to spell.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I know.
That's okay.
That's why I'm kind of like a first name person. I tried to pull off the whole thing like Cher. I was like, listen, she doesn't have to use her last name.
I know.
Mine.
I know. I'm so used to introducing people with their first and their last names. It's That's okay. But in terms of looking you up on social media, obviously they're going to need your last name. So you've got Erin Koczur. That's Koczur. People, you got it?
Yep.
It's all good.
Koczur.
Well, with that said, I thank you so much, Erin, for being on my show today. And I hope you are welcome to come back on my show anytime you feel like it.
Well, thank you. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I really, really have.
Yeah.
And I'd like to wish you and everybody else an absolutely delicious and happy Thanksgiving. And I know you and I will be talking well before Christmas.
That we will. In fact, I'll be in touch with you very, very soon. It's all good.
All right,
you wait until I finish my show. I'll be texting you. It's all good.
I love it. Thank you again. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Much love.
You're very welcome. Love you too. And now I'm going to bring on my next guest, and we have got Dr. Rita Louise. She is a medical intuitive. She is a 20-year veteran of the alternative health field. She provides guidance and support and encouragement for those who seek balance in their lives. As the founder of the Institute of Applied Energetics, she uses her expertise in the field to teach others her advanced findings and techniques to equip them with the tools that they need to be successful. Dr. Louise looks into your body, mind, and spirit. She can unlock secrets about your physical, emotional, and spiritual states, which will enable you to make a positive change in your life. Dr. Rita Louise is also a pragmatic writer who has published 2 books, Avoiding the Cosmic 2x4 and The Power Within, where she explores the world of alternative medical practices. I would like to bring on Dr. Rita Louise. How are you this evening?
I am wonderful, Katie. How are you?
I am doing wonderful.
I'm just so glad to be with you tonight.
Oh my
this
God.
is such an awesome topic.
Yes, I know. We're going into Thanksgiving, and of course the new moon in Sagittarius is happening all tonight in a couple of hours, and we're going. Of course, we've just celebrated the well, I don't know if you celebrated it, but Venus and Jupiter were shining bright side by side each other in the night sky. I wish I could have seen that because I didn't really go outside at nighttime. So, but I definitely saw the photos from night sky. So, sky watch. Because I'm underneath it all. I don't do it all occasionally, but I do like to stargaze when I can. So relaxing to be outside. But tell me a little bit more about yourself, Rita.
Well, you mean like in general?
Just in general, and what do you think about the transformational process and the theme of transformation over the next over the next 12 months that is happening. So what is your experiences regarding that?
Oh my God.
Tell us a little bit about that.
You sit there and you think, well, my life is going through all of these changes and all of this stuff is coming to the forefront. And then you start asking people and you find out that everybody, or those people that are more open to receiving the energy, are all going through this process. And so I started doing some digging, and one of the things that I found out was that this cycle, at least for me, started at the end of 2016, 2017, and really came to a head at the beginning of 2019. And thank God, astrologically speaking, it's supposed to be coming to resolution with and I just looked this up the other day, the January 2020 Pluto-Saturn conjunction. And so we have that happening with the Sun and Mercury also being in conjunction at the same time. And the reason I'm looking it up is I'm releasing a new book, and I was looking for a date in the beginning of 2020 because I felt like 2019 needed to end. The taking of that deep emotional energy that's just been coming to the surface and smacking us in the face, saying, hey, look at me, needed to end. It just needed to end. And I knew that 2020, that there was going to be a breakthrough and a real big shift in energy. And it sounds like January 2020, bam, right there, right up front. And so I have the pre-release happening. I think I scheduled for January 12th with the official release on February 7th, because there was another thing happening. And actually, I wanted the book to line up with Valentine's Day because it's about relationships. All right, not good relationships, but relationships in general. But people celebrate Valentine's Day even if they're in an unhealthy relationship.
Well, that's exactly right, and I think a lot of people have lost touch with that too. And given the fact that we are in the fact that it is the new moon in Sagittarius, it is time for those people out there that even good or bad relationships to set your intention of what you want for 2020. Those relationships goals, whether it's be more kinder to your partner, whether it's to be, I don't know, let them go. That is the time.
Love yourself.
And
have
and love yourself. Well, that's exactly right. If you're single, have a relationship with yourself. If you're looking for love, set your intention.
Have a relationship with yourself.
No, that too. But what I'm saying is that, it's all going to go back to yourself. Yes, that is very, very true. But a lot of people are still searching. And I think a lot of people forget the fact that they should be soul searching before they actually search for other people or other souls.
Well, and the last few years have just been really interesting because I feel like the energy that we've been hit with has been, what is not working in you? What core beliefs are keeping you trapped from really moving forward? And the universe has just stuck them in our face to address, and deal with. I mean, hopefully deal with, versus just gloss over anymore. And I feel like there's huge positive transformation that has been happening because of it, because there's a lot of times where you can just go, yeah, and kind of push it to the side. But I feel like the last couple of years, this last year in particular, we really haven't had a choice.
It's and it's horrible. And we're seeing people come out, they show their true color. The people, over the last 12 months, maybe 18 months at least, people are starting to really show their true colors. And and like I said before, this is not some woo-woo crap that we're talking about. No. We are no. This is naturally occurring, just like people are looking and saying that the Earth is flat and the polar the ice caps are the Earth is tilting and all this. This is not woo-woo crap. This is what we're telling you is an actual occurrence that is happening with humankind. It's happening not just with humans, but the animals as well. It's happening with the environment. It's happening everywhere, and it's causing a lot of chaos.
but I feel like it's good chaos. You know, you can't come to, as human beings, we will not change unless something forces us to do so. And I feel like this energy has been really harsh on some levels, but in the same breath, it's forcing us.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say it any nicer, to really look at it, deal with it, address it, and change it.
Yeah. And that's all you can do.
That's all you can do.
And if you want to, if people want to keep sitting duck on it and not come to realization, have that awareness, we're going to be all lost human souls. There are going to be so many souls that are lost that I don't know where to go and where to comprehend it.
And I don't know, you know, if there's just a smidge of awareness within a person, you know, and a smidge of openness, I don't know how they can't see it in their own lives. I mean, I think that there are lots of people that are completely oblivious. But those are the people that aren't really interested in changing anyway.
Exactly. And then there's a difference between not wanting to change and actually changing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge difference. And like I said before with Erin, I'm like, maybe some people really do need that little nudge, get that little, even if it is a baseball bat to go whack, you know, maybe sometimes that is what's needed to wake up. But if it's not naturally occurring by itself, we're going to be held accountable for what our own actions. And be honest with ourselves. And once we start being hold ourselves accountable for every action that we have, it's like we have full of choices. Every choice, you have a choice to put something in the trash. You have a choice to not put it in the trash. We still have a choice.
But I think this year, one of the things that has come up from it is things that you didn't even know were wrong. Exactly. You know, like you're like, okay, everything is good. And then it's like, wow. And I'm just actually speaking from my experience because I thought I had a great life and I got whacked really hard. Yes. And it was shocking.
Yeah.
It was literally shocking. And, you know, and in this book, I make the comment, it's like, you know, I see myself as a pretty intuitive person. And for me not to see some of the stuff that I'm working through right now was just added to the shock. And you know, go ahead.
And the thing is that even if you're the most intuitive person, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get things wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because even the most intuitive people are imperfectly perfect or perfectly imperfect.
Well, and if it's something that has just been part of who you are, because I feel like we are dealing with healing some very deep core wounding within ourselves, on the planet, you know, in our relationships, you know, and it's interesting because the book that I'm releasing is about the relationship between empaths and narcissists.
Yeah.
The title is The Dysfunctional Dance Between Empaths and Narcissists. And, you know, and it's interesting because the word narcissist in our society has really come to the forefront, you know, when you talk about politics, and I'm not even going to get into that, but there's just been so much more awareness of the people that have not stood up for themselves, you know, and I mean, because people that are narcissists aren't going to change. They're just going to be oblivious and unaware and into their own thing. But it's the people that support bad behavior and accept bad behavior that are waking up and going, wait a minute, what about me? And why am I doing this? And what can I do to change it and not do this anymore? You know, and people are really sitting down and thinking, what do I want? And where do I want to go? And, you know, and I'm not feeling like that's coming from a self-serving place, but from a self-love place, because there are so many people that have not honored themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of people out there. And not only that, even empaths, there are people out there that don't know they're empaths who are empaths, and there's people out there who also are narcissistic that don't really actually know what they are narcissistic, let alone they know the properties of being narcissistic. I mean, there's a difference between.
But it's not them.
That's exactly right. It's almost they're aliens unto themselves, but they're alienated by doing what they do and the behavioral traits that come with it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, but I that has been my feeling. I've seen so much shift and so much transformation in my clients, where they really are digging deep and going, why am I doing this? Why am I recreating these patterns in my life? What can I do to change them? What can I do to move forward? Because I'm tired of being stuck in this place. And it literally has only been this year that there has just been so much emphasis on that, and the word that I want to tie it to is self-love. What do I need for me? What do I need to love me? I love you, but I need to love me too.
Mm-hmm. And most people don't know how to love themselves at all.
No,
they really don't. And unfortunately, that's why there's people like us who have to at least guide you in the right direction, not give you the answers, but guide you in the right direction to have at least help you answer that why question. And I think it's a good thing. There are a lot of light workers that are now coming into the light, who are helping people, forming tribes, going into communities to provide that heart aligned community service, the selfless service. These people, light workers, although I could say there's a whole different category for people that are light workers that do a lot of evil, but because we are, majority of us are love centered or heart aligned, we tend to do good and we hope the best for everybody, but not everybody's going to see it that way.
Well, and I just think it's interesting, how you made the comment that, there are some light workers that are out to do evil.
Yeah.
And my knee-jerk reaction is, but then how can you be a light worker? You might have the tools, you might have the techniques, but you're not allowing spirit to lead the way and create the course that your life is on, because it's being led by ego. So you might have technique, and you might have skill, but are you really a light worker?
Because a lot of people, light workers, and do correct me if I'm wrong, because we're working in the same industry here. Mm-hmm. A lot of light workers are very, very selfless. They feel a need and their drive and passion to work for other people selflessly. It's not about the ego. It's not about how much you can gain in terms of money, even though it's a necessity. It's not about how rich you can be. It's not about stigmatizing the dogma that comes behind it being a light worker. It's about just being acts of love and giving love and giving and giving and giving. But at the same time, when we give, we also look after ourselves. And sometimes being a light worker, we forget that.
Mm-hmm. And I think that to me is the definition of a light worker versus someone who is out for fame or is out for just the money. But even though, we do this work, I think as a light worker, you have to have a certain level of boundaries, whether you're willing to give it all away or, I have people that message me all the time and they just want answers, and you have to kind of put a limit to it. As to how much you just give away, because then there would just be lines and lines of people wanting, and then my rents, my mortgage isn't going to get paid or anything like that. So I think that there needs to be a certain level of boundaries, but having those boundaries is about honoring myself, and the light worker honoring themselves and their needs and creating a balance, but that doesn't say that if there's a message from someone who really needs the help and they seem sincere, that I won't go out and help them or give them extra time or whatever that happens to be, because there's a sincere need, not that they're just asking because they just don't want to pay, if that made sense.
Yeah. And there's a level there's a level of a trust and integrity that comes with that. You know, a lot of light workers out there, they will honor that. They will honor that. But sometimes there are occasions, and very rare occasions, that we do need to step back and say, hey, is this really, really genuine? Or is this going to serve myself being a light worker? Is this going to serve me for the greater good by helping someone that seems disingenuous about the help that they require?
Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that's on a case-by-case basis, you know, of how much you're willing to give back, or the way that you're willing to give back. You know, like you do your show, like I did my radio show for 10 years. You know, I write these books, I write a lot of articles, do videos, you know, and so to me, that's my way of giving back, you know, and that's where I put my energy into. And if you want me to diagnose your health condition and then get pissed off at me when I say you need to schedule a session, sorry.
Yeah, that ain't happening. But at the same time, but just put a shout out there too for people that do want to call in and to ask any question. The call in number is 415-762-9988. Follow the instructions and put in meeting code or ID 522-6572748. That's 522-6572748, and press pound straight after you put that number in. We'll be happy to talk to you.
All right, that was kind of complicated. I have to tell you.
I know. Zoom don't give it an easy way of calling in, but that's okay. I do have that number, by the way. If you are watching Facebook Live or you are watching YouTube Live right now on the Somafusion Mind, Body, and Soul YouTube channel, it is written in the description there. You can just write it down there or just dial it up on your phone. And we'll be here. We're always going to be here. Woohoo!
You know, we always laugh when we're talking together.
I know. It's funny that even at the most minuscule things, it's not even funny, but we just laugh because that's the joy that life brings.
And I think that, I mean, to me, you know, we were talking about light workers, you know, but I think there are people that just have light, you know, and I'm not trying to say this because I have like a big head, because I don't, you know, well, maybe, I don't know, but
it's okay. It's okay. At least you can admit it. It's all good. And you look
it's really not that big, but, you know, but when you get two people like the two of us together, it's like, we don't even really need to be talking about anything of substance. No. And there is this higher level vibration that I feel that other people can tap into and experience.
Yeah.
You know, even if we're talking about like doing laundry, you know, and we have a good laugh about it. I mean, there's just this vibration. And to me, there's a level of healing that happens. You know, there's something that called matching energy, you know, so if you are around like an Indian mystic, you know, you can feel their presence, but your personal energy will get raised because they're vibrating at such a high frequency. And so when you get two people that, you know, are bantering like this and we're laughing and we're having a good time, it's like both of our individual energies are raised, but we're in communion with each other. So we're creating this own little vortex of raised energy. And so anyone who's participating, whether they're listening live or listening to a show after, are going to be able to share in this little celebration of joy and fun that we're having with each other.
Exactly. And that's the gratitude, and that's the gratitude we humbly accept, because at the end of the day, what we radiate is always going to be radiated back to us. We are the shining stars of the universe, and it should be epic. It's epic magic we create.
You know, I'm waiting for it to get shined back at me.
Hey, we reap what we sow, right? But I don't know. I don't
know. I get whacked a lot. I don't know about you, but I get whacked a lot. You know, and I'm like, okay, so what
I'm
am I
waiting
supposed
for
to
that
be learning
day.
from this one? Huh?
I'm waiting for that day, but by all means, if someone wants to whack me, fine. No, I'm not saying seriously.
I don't know. I know you well enough to know you've been whacked once or twice.
Hey, I might be good at using a baseball bat. Don't you know that? It's our secret. Oh crap, it's live radio. Did I just say that? Oh wait. Oh dear. But no, but see I mean this kind of atmosphere as well. And this is what radio is all about too, is projecting. Well, we're not actually projecting, we're just radiating what we automatically naturally do. You and I both radiate at a frequency of love that is not learned. It's just naturally given. And that's the thing, is that I know for a fact that I can walk down the street, I can have conversations with myself when I do, and I giggle and laugh to myself. I've had people stand right next to me going, what is she laughing about? It's okay. It's fine. Call me crazy. I don't care. But it's not for you to judge. It's I'm having my fun in my head, in my world. It's my form of escapism. Just, don't burst my bubble.
That's right.
I'm being me.
But that's the thing, is you're being you and you're being authentic to yourself. And there are so many people, which I think is starting to change.
It is.
That they try to fit into that square box, and they try to fit into, well, this is who I'm supposed to be, or this is what the expectation is of, what it's like to be whatever. I have this friend, and I was making some comment about, well, I've never really lived in the box. And his comment was, they don't make a round hole big enough for your square peg to fit through. And I'm like, I like that one. But I think that that's one of the things that we both bring to the table, is that we just are. I mean, I don't try to be anybody else, and I can't do accents. I just sound like this. If I do a British accent, I sound like this, except dumber, and
see, I can do accents here in the United States because I have an accent, apparently.
No way.
Only on Thursdays, right?
That's right. And I can sound like I'm not from New York.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, in essence of everything, life is about having fun, and I think a lot of people have just had the joy, the joy of life sucked out of them because of whatever political leader they want to follow, whatever tumultuous relationship they're in, whatever project that they want to involve themselves in, but don't really actually want to be involved in that project, whatever job that they're in. And that's the thing, is that, whatever happened to people actually following not just their head in certain situations, but also following their heart, going back to having a day where, even if it is one day or a year or 5 years or 10 years, purpose driven, having some meaning, doing things that we absolutely love. I think we've lost it. It's fallen into the void a lot.
And I agree with you. I think that a lot of people have, life is, I'm going to say, challenging. I don't want to say it's hard, but it seems like, we get, I'm going to say it differently. So do you remember the Jetsons?
Uh-huh. Mr. Cogsworth?
Yeah. And I remember watching that show growing up thinking, wow, this isn't so far in the future, and I'm only going to have to work like 4 hours a day, and life is going to be so simple. And it seems like, I think we work more now than we did before. And so we have all of these labor saving devices that I'm not really sure what labor they're saving at all. And so I feel like people are so involved in, checking their Facebook and checking email and doing all of these things that they're too busy surviving, and they're really not living. They're really not doing the things that fill their heart and bring them joy.
Exactly.
So my new thing, and this is going to sound weird.
Stop and smell the roses?
No, I go fishing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I never really thought I would ever think about going fishing ever, because it's like fishing.
Yeah.
I find it to be one of the most peaceful experiences. You go, you put the little bait thing on the hook, you throw it in the water, and you just sit there. And you sit there. And you sit there and you look at the trees and you sit there. But I'm not in front of my computer. I'm not trying to write an article. I'm not trying to do all of this stuff. I just sit there and watch my little bobbler thing, waiting for maybe a fish to jump on, which doesn't happen that often. But
you're in the right fishing spot. Exactly.
And I love it. And so now it's like, if I'm having a bad day, it's like, can we go fishing? And I feel like it's really kind of saved me, because I'm excellent at getting all wrapped up in my work, and so even just going for a couple of hours, it fills me, it satisfies me, it gives me the opportunity to let go of all of this tension that I might be running around with, because I got contractors making me crazy, and I got deadlines and this and that and all of this stuff. And now I can just let it all go for a couple of hours and watch my bobbler and maybe get a fish, which again, doesn't really happen, but it's all good. And it makes me happy.
I do the same damn thing. I really do.
You go fishing?
I wish. Do I see any bodies of water around here? I'll go in my bathtub. It's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, I know I'm definitely never going to catch a fish in a bathtub, so it's all good. But no, I do that with music. I tune out to music, and that is my calm. That is my relax, and that's my form of meditation. People who know me very, very well, they look at me very, very funny when I tune out to music, and it's like, no, leave me alone. Stop bursting my bubble, because this is my time. Just, it's my focus. I do that with work as well, because it also, music is not just meditation for me, outside of work. It is also meditation for me while I'm working as well. So sometimes for me, it's very hard to differentiate between the two of them, but the collaboration of the both of them allows me to enhance my creativity, because my creativity is on a cycle 24/7. It never stops. And the fact that music stimulates me to a point, it doesn't stimulate me to the fact that I can't sleep or anything like that, but it doesn't overstimulate me. It actually stimulates me more to think about, not think, but also think about what is needed for me. It is my little sanctuary.
But the operative words is, it's what works for me.
Yeah.
And it's my way of loving myself and taking care of myself and honoring myself. In this book, I talk about self-love, and, one of the comments that I have in there is like, so loving yourself, you might think you're a narcissist. It's like, nah, it isn't going to happen. Just because you give yourself the opportunity to listen to music and relax, or go fishing, or take yourself to Starbucks and just sit there and drink a coffee, doesn't make you be some self-centered person. No. And I think there are so many people on the planet that are very concerned about being self-centered when they're not.
The other thing is too, is that we talk a lot about I this, I that, I want. No, but there's a difference between talking about I in the fact that I want, and talking about I as in I'm proud of my achievements. I love what I do. I am driven by passion. This is who I am.
Exactly.
And people forget the difference between the two, and they just come out and say, well, hang on, you're self-absorbed, you're self-centered, you're stuck up. But it's really the opposite.
It's not the same.
It's opposite.
And there's another piece. There's also, when some people use that, there's also the I expect. Now, I might want something, but I don't necessarily expect it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can sit there and say, well, I want $1 million, but it's like, I'm not really expecting somebody to just give it to me. But there are a lot of people that when they say they want, they expect that other people are going to comply with their wants and needs.
And that's
not good.
No, exactly. And the fact that we do that, it's bringing off, it's a self-reflection of who we are. When we start to do that, we self-depreciate ourselves, or we're criticizing another person because we don't follow their expectations of how we should be.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I got that.
Did I get too philosophical for you there, Rita?
But I think, that's one of the big things, again, that I really felt was coming through this transformation period that we started this whole conversation with, is people just coming to own themselves, and people becoming in awareness that they matter too, that they count too, that their wants and needs have value also, that they have value, and maybe they should take care of themselves in the same way that they take care of everybody else around them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And start affirming. I mean, like I said, tonight at 10:05 or 10:06 p.m. Eastern, that is the time that we set that intention in motion. The I am. And it's not even an intention. Well, yes, it is. The intention for many people out there, planting those seeds and then setting the intention for what they want in the lead up to 2020. Now, most people are going to ask for the usual stuff: love, relationship, cars, money, houses, God knows what else, to win the lottery. But whatever happened to people are saying, using affirmations and setting their intention through affirmations? I am powerful. I am great. I am a star. I am beautiful. I am who I am. Because I say I am, not because you say I am, but I say I am.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they get the opportunity to scrape off the crust and the dirt of that little diamond that they carry inside that's called their self-worth. Yep. And so many of us have such bad viewpoint of ourselves. There's something that they call the inner critic. And the inner critic is that voice that's inside that sits there and goes, you're fat. You're stupid. You could never do that. And it really never has anything very nice to say to us about ourselves. And if you sit there and stop and start paying attention to what that inner critic is saying, I don't think any person on the planet, well, maybe not any person, would actually use those words with reference to somebody else. Like, I would never sit there and say to your face, you're fat, you're stupid, you need to go get a job. I mean, well, all right, maybe my clients, but but I kind of say it in a nicer way. And but they need to hear that from me, and I do say it in a nicer way. But we would never sit there and use that kind of vocabulary and verbiage on somebody else, but we will use it on ourselves constantly.
And not only that, when we shed our vulnerability to open up to emotions that we thought we never had, and for those, I've had people come to me saying, I don't have any emotions. Well, I'm telling you,
there's one there right now.
You're talking bullshit. I can call you out. I've done it before. I'll do it again. And it's not a criticism of you. It's the fact that you're being dishonest to yourself. And when you are dishonest to yourself, a whole group of emotions and ideologies and isms and everything comes with that. It's because you have forgotten how to sit down for a moment and just take a breath, be in the now, and just trust the process of feeling through everything. And the thing is, people have also forgotten how to process emotions. They've forgotten how to feel through things. I'm not saying that everybody's a feeler. I'm saying that we all have emotions, but it's how we deal with it and how we seek help to deal with it in order to guide us to be better, to transform into something better, to live out our authentic life. Then we're able to move forward and become somebody who we're meant to be, whatever that may be. But at the same time, it's authentic, shedding that negativity and that vulnerability, or allowing the vulnerability and embracing those shadows for what they are, allows the process. But all in all, you have to trust the process that the universe is going to give you what you need in order to guide you in the right direction.
Oh, exactly. And even that could mean a whack, but I'm going to make a comment about people processing through their feelings. It is kind of a sad world we live in, because we're really not taught to tap into our feelings. We're not really taught to identify if this is what I'm experiencing inside. This feeling is resentment. We don't have words to take this internal dynamic and understand it, or we're not really taught how to, if I'm having these feelings, how to transform it into something better or something healthy, we're just not taught. I mean, our feelings and our inner world is pretty much ignored.
Yep.
And I feel like that's, people are paying more attention to it. They need to pay more attention to it, because you can't be true to yourself and you can't be authentic until you start paying attention to what's actually going on inside. Because if you live in your head, you can seem like you got everything together, but inside you might be this turbulent whirlwind of emotions that you don't even know what's going on, because you're so busy living a mental existence.
Yep. And sometimes living in your head is okay to a certain degree, but then you start to then become irrational with the thoughts that you project out to everybody else once you start doing that. And you cannot process anything. So trusting that you can do it and trusting the process is going to be beneficial.
I'm just trying to think of where to go with that. Well, and I think that, I think that people don't even understand when they're in their head.
No.
And again, it's because we don't know. Like, I learned a new word this year.
Really?
And it's like one of my new favorite words, because I'm an expert at it. And that word is rumination. And so rumination is when you think about something, like there's a broken record in your head. So you just have an interaction. So you and I just talk, but we don't have a good interaction. So now I'm thinking, oh, well, she's so mean. Well, I should have said this and I should have done that. And, blah, 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 and you can go on and on and on and on and on that way for days, going over the same situation. Or you could sit there and worry, like, well, what's going to happen? I got to go talk to the boss, well, blah, 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 and you can be in this whole mental chatter for days. And you can go from one piece of mental chatter to the next piece of mental chatter to the next piece of mental chatter from the past to the future, to the past to the future to over here. And the reality is that you're really not living in the moment. You're not aware of what's going on in your body. You're not aware of what your emotions are. You can't really have feelings because you're too busy thinking, and you're too busy in the past or too busy in the future to be here and going, well, what's going on inside of me now?
Exactly. And then you meet me and I'll grab that baseball bat and say, hey, give you a whack and say, wake up. No, I'm kidding.
Here, listen to some music.
Yes. Something like that.
Go fishing.
Oh, I love smacking people against a wall and saying, hey, metaphorically anyway, not really. But no, I really do, because I'm bluntly honest. I can be really, really bluntly honest. And
that's why we love each other.
Yeah, that's what we do. You're right about something there. But that's the thing, is that we can, we can go, it's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's robotic. We're so used to living robotic lives that we forget. We just forget that mental clatter and chatter and clatter and clatter. Yeah, well, it's all the same thing anyway. But no, all of that stuff that goes on internally, eventually what happens is, if it gets bad enough, we project it onto other people to make them act and react the same way that we do, because we're, at the end of the day, unhappy with ourselves, and we know it.
But the sad part is that people don't know that if you're doing that and you have all of this chatter going on, and it gets to the place that you're projecting it on somebody else or whatever, that's not healthy. And that's not good for you, and it's not good for anybody. And the cycle and the pattern that you have been living your life for however many years that maybe has been is not a good pattern, and maybe it needs to change. Maybe you need to stop and look and go, I don't want to be this way anymore. I don't want to sit there and spend 3 days worrying about, somebody touched my fork and put it in the sink without my permission. I mean, we can stress out about some of the most dumb things that have absolutely no value. Well, why did they turn the light off?
It's almost as like making up an excuse for things that happen. When you make excuses, when you deny yourself the worth that you should be, or deny yourself what you deserve. And people deny themselves their self-worth. They deny themselves what they what could be. They deny themselves. Why do we live in so much denial when we could have everything? Like I was saying before with Kim, everything in life that we have is right in front of our face. It's up to us at free will and our choice to go grab it. Everything that we have. And I'm not saying that we can, win the lottery by going out and grabbing it. That's like saying you're going to go rob a bank. But what I'm saying is that you take that risk, that one step forward, and buy that lottery ticket, do the action. One day you might actually win the lottery. But you have to have the faith and the trust in the process to win.
But there are a lot of people who don't recognize that many of the things that they think, many of the things that they believe, many of the actions that they take, robotic or not, is based on some programming that they received when they were a little kid, that they're still basing their life around because they believe it's true. Yeah. One of the things that I talk about in the Dysfunctional Dance book is that you end up, one of the things that happens is that you end up living this life based on this programming and these lies that are instilled. You're worthless, you're fat, you're whatever, whatever those beliefs are. And the sad part is that you believed it. you know, and so now you're an adult and you have to deal with the consequences of taking on the belief, you know, and the whole thing really came up in the topic of self-forgiveness. Let me kind of back this up, you know, because I was writing about forgiving yourself, but the concept of self-forgiveness is kind of gears around, you have to recognize the mistake you made so that you can move forward and not repeat it. You know, but the book really talks about abuse, long-term abuse, and creating abusive relationships. And it's like, so if you were abused as a child, what did you do? You know, what did you do to create this programming? And why should you forgive yourself? Because you didn't do anything. You were a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so what was interesting was that what came out of it to me was that you believe the lies. You believe the lies that were taught to you when you were young that created all of this programming that took away every piece of your self-worth and just barnacle encrusted it. So it was so buried inside of yourself that you couldn't even see any value and any worth. You know, and so in order to forgive yourself, you have to accept the responsibility that you believe the lie. Because once you recognize that all of that stuff that I don't have value is a lie, because people don't even get that it's a lie. They just think that this is who I am. This is who I am. I have no value. I'm not smart. I can't do this stuff. Nobody likes me, you know, but it's all a lie. And once you accept the fact that it's a lie, then you can start to move forward out of it. You know, at least maybe take some inventory, like, is it really a lie? Because maybe it's not true. There's the possibility that it's not true. I mean, you know, am I going to be a math wizard? No.
Hey,
and I can own and accept that, you know. Will I ever be able to spell anything? Like, math is easier than spelling for me. You know, am I ever going to be a spelling wizard? Never, ever, ever, ever. And I am okay with accepting that.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And I think when we break through those walls and those barriers and those conditioned beliefs, we end up in a place where we can seek the inner happiness, because happiness obviously is an inner job. And we seek the happiness. We become humble. We become selfless. We become everything that we thought that we couldn't be.
Yes. It's liberating. When you sit there and you go, well, maybe this isn't true, and maybe I can do these things or have these things, or I can give myself permission to take care of myself and listen to some music, or maybe go fishing, or whatever it is that floats your boat. It's like, it's liberating, you know, and it feeds your soul, and it makes you want to do more so that you can have more of it.
Exactly. And that's why they call us wild women.
Okay, you shouldn't say things like that while I'm trying to take a little drink.
But you know what I mean, right? There's a reason why they call us
that's
wild
an
women.
interesting concept, because, you know, you have women that are independent and smart and free thinking, and there's something wrong with that too. And it's like, sorry.
Yeah.
Get over it.
You and I both know that one very well.
I mean, I could make some like not very politically correct commentary, but I won't.
Mm-hmm. We could both do sarcasm.
Huh?
I said we could both play sarcasm really all day long if we really wanted to. You don't have to worry about being politically correct.
Well, no, it wasn't even a politically correct comment. It was just a nasty comment, but you know, having to do with certain genitalia. How's that?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. You know, like if we had certain genitalia, you know, they wouldn't say anything to us.
No, that's exactly right. But I am humbled the fact that we are wild women, and it shouldn't be. We shouldn't put ourselves any lesser than being wild women. And if There are other genitalia out there that includes the same genitalia that are scared of us, then so be it. But at least
But
we're
see,
real.
I don't even think that we should be considered wild women because, I think that, for a guy to be considered a wild guy, he'd have to be way worse than us because we're really kind of boring in our own way. We're just comfortable in our own skin.
That's exactly right. But there's no...
It doesn't make us wild. I don't like hang from chandeliers or run around and do crazy stuff. Too much.
Only on Thursdays.
Yeah, only on Wednesday. It's Wednesday for me. Yeah, exactly.
Where do we go from here? Oh my God. I need a drink. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting because I've had people for years, tell me that, you just are really authentic and you really, are in your skin, and you just are you. And I can't even imagine what not being that way would be like.
Nope, me neither. Nope. Even our gifts and abilities and what we do in all our modalities and healing and healing therapies and so on and so forth. I don't know what we would actually and the fact that we're both writers. If you took all of that away,
We'd be darning socks.
We'd be calling each other on video call, playing with sock puppets. That's what we'd be doing. Or I don't know what the hell we'd be doing actually.
And I just remember growing up, and it was the heat of the women's liberation thing and, bra burning and whatever. And I was just glad thinking that by the time I, was older, that, women would have their place in society. And that really hasn't really happened all that much. But I kind of took it and ran with it personally, I just couldn't imagine just being a housewife. No. I think that would have been that would have killed me. It would have killed me.
Mm-hmm. I've never imagined myself as a housewife. However, I have been in that traditional role, have been there, done that, don't like it or so much.
Well, I've done it, but I also ran a business and was going to school full time and was working part time and wrote a book all while doing that. But is that like being a traditional housewife?
Well, I'm
waiting for the bonbons, damn it. And I still haven't laid on the sofa watching soap operas.
That too, but what about the next door neighbor bringing over the lasagna because she's supposed to look after me too?
Yeah, that hasn't happened either.
No. Yeah. What world are we living in? I don't know.
I don't know, but I think I would be so bored if I was laying around watching soap operas eating bonbons. I just don't even think I could do that.
No, I can't do it. No, me neither. No, I am very, very practical in terms of what I do. And, secret between you and me. Oh wait, this is live radio. No, I actually...
Tell.
That's okay. No, when I'm writing books and that, I get up, I write, I get up, I dance around and I'm prancing around and I'm doing my damn thing. I'm still listening to my damn music. Nothing will ever change. But I'm getting up and I'm moving around and I'm doing things and while I'm still doing it, I'm still writing. I'm still having fun doing what I do best. Just being me. And that's the whole point of having this whole new moon in Sagittarius in 2020, about being you, planting those seeds, giving those intentions out to, for all I care, you could be harnessing the moon's power right now, if that floats your boat.
And I think that the seeds have been planted.
The seeds are already planted.
And now it's time for them to start manifesting and, breaking ground and starting to come out so that we see the fruits of all the work we've done in 2019, which Makes me tired just thinking about it.
But we do got to move on, move up, move into a better world, and hope for a better world if that's what we have to progress to, and hope that 2020 is a much better year in terms of who we are, where we are, and where we're going. And that's the whole point is, harness what you need to harness now. If you've planted seeds throughout this whole year, start watering that garden and manifest it into something that's more grand and something that you've never thought could be possible. And if you haven't already started planting those seeds, plant them tonight, because tonight's a really, really good night to do that. And just go from there. And if you need the guidance and the help, ask. There's always someone out there in your soul tribe, in your community. Somebody will be willing to help. And and that's the way it's going to be. That's how life is. But keep being you, and be the authentic you that you need to be. And with that said, I do need to actually get off air.
Okay.
As much as, no, because there's another show in about 4 minutes. So I need to prep for that. But what I will say is I do thank you so much, Dr. Rita Louise, for coming on to my show. And like I said to the other two, you are more than welcome to come and hang out with me anytime.
Okay.
Just chill. You know how we do it.
Yes, I do.
But for all those other listeners out there who are listening, you are listening to Soma Fusion Radio with your host, Katie Kamara. You can find me at www.somafusion or soma-fusion or -fusion.com. And you can also find me on the Global Enlightenment Radio Network.com. You can also see an archive. I will do a complete one because I think the stream got cut a little bit choppy in the beginning, but I will do a full archive of this show and I will be putting it up onto YouTube. Please, if you support my work and this radio show, please go to patreon.com/somafusion, and you can find me and my work up there. It is a subscription based. It is either a $10, $15, or $20 a month a subscription, and you can see a lot more of my exclusive work over there. Quickly to Rita, before I finish up, can you plug yourself in?
Sure. So I have two primary websites. One is soulhealer.com, soulhealer.com, which is kind of my generic site. But if people are looking for some guidance and support and help as we go through this time, I do psychic readings, medical intuition work, and I would love to direct you to medical-intuitives with an S.com. So medical-intuitives.com.
Well, thank you so much for that, Dr. Rita Louise, and we will be back next Tuesday at a good old time of 7 o'clock Eastern, and I look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you grow and plant. If you haven't already planted your seeds, plant them tonight at 10:06 p.m. is the time of the new moon in Sagittarius. Until then, have a lovely evening, and I look forward to seeing you next week.